Hello, how are you doing today? Good morning, my wonderful students. We have someone with us who's going to be reading. Say hi.
Hi,
Who are you?
Aria.
You're Aria? Okay. You ready to tell them what story we're going to read today? Yeah. What are you doing? We are going to read the story today, The Invisible Boy. This is going to be our next book in our Book-A-Thon. Okay. Okay, let's see. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Miss Charlotte has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophia. There's Brian, right there. Nathan has problems with what Miss Charlotte calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophia whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophia take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first. Then the best friends of the best players. Then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. Poor Brian. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did, except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, when the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings, space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, greedy pirates digging for treasure, and superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. Looks a little bit like Brian. On Monday morning, Miss Charlotte introduces Justin, a new student to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. What's that? Asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. He's eating with chopsticks. And the kids laugh, all of them that is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Brian wrote him a note saying, I think your food looks delicious. And he's got chopsticks! At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. You're Brian, right? Yeah. Thanks for the note. Hey, Justin! Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. You're up next! Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, that's a really cool drawing, he adds, before taking off. What do you think that is?
A dinosaur.
You think it's a dinosaur? It looks kind of like a dinosaur, though. Back in class, Miss Charlotte asks the kids to team up in 2 or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads towards Justin. I'm already with Justin, says Emilio. Find someone else. Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Miss Charlotte said we can have up to 3 people in a group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us. Oh, okay, I guess. Miss Charlotte gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in this photograph. We've done that in class. We look at a picture and tell us what you see. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. And so they look at the picture, they write a story, they have a whole play, the crooked story we made up on the spot. It's lunchtime again, Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. Brian! He hears someone shout out. Hey, Brian, over here! Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all. Is he invisible anymore? No. And another cool part about this book, so if you look at the very beginning of the story, Brian is all in gray. And then as we get further along, he starts to get a little bit of color. And then he's got all of his color. So by the time we get to the end of the book, he's no longer invisible. He's completely in color. Pretty cool, huh? What do you think, Ari? Did you like that book?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think the kids should also like the book?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, you know what? Now we have to give them their assignment. So, here's what you need to do. Back in your Google Classroom, I want you to tell me, what is the lesson that we can learn from the story? And so what's the theme? What lesson did we learn from Brian about being invisible? Okay? Take your time, answer that question, and then tune in on Friday for your next book to find out what we're going to read next. It's a good one, isn't it, Aria? It's a good book. You'll have to wait for Friday to find out. But don't forget, take an AR quiz on the book, and we'll see you again. Can you say bye?
Bye.
Say bye, kids.
Bye.